Yo, Mubs, could you show us how the Burnt Peanut does his gift animations? For different sub amounts, he has helicopters and tanks coming to the screen like an airdrop. Would be cool to know how. Let's do it. Okay, man, so what you're asking is actually probably a little bit more complex than you realize. So it's going to come down to 4 major steps, and that's going to be modeling, rigging, animation, and then finally putting in some kind of level sequence or sequencer so you can put it as like a video file to put into your stream. So we're not going to cover all those steps today because those are also the main 4 steps to like make entire Pixar movies. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a general overview of all those things and try to tell you what each one is. You can get a model from wherever you want. They make them on Sketchfab. You can make your own. You can hire someone. You can find them in other ways that I won't ask about. That's totally your business. But when you think of modeling, think of that is what you see, right? Let's say like you start in Blender with a cube and you need to make it into a helicopter. You need to make it into a person. You need to make it into a mouse. Whatever the case may be, that is modeling, all right? And once you have your model, you need to rig it. And rigging is going to be your bones and your joints, right? Or in the helicopter case, you're using probably your propeller, right? Things like that, things that are going to move, all right? So once you have your bones in there or joints so things can actually move, then you're going to get into the animation. And the animation is exactly what it is, right? You're running, your helicopter spinning, it's going from point A to point B. And I'll have something playing in the background the whole time I'm saying this. So you can kind of see it'll be like a cube sliding from point A to point B and maybe twisting. That's all you're doing, but on a more complex scale, okay? That is how you get that effect. Once you have it animated, you're then going to put it in the level sequence. And that's where this video is really going to start, right? I'm going to make it in the level sequence, make it out inside Unreal. You don't have to use Unreal. You can use Blender. You can use other programs. There's a ton of programs out there for this. I just prefer Unreal. I would recommend Unreal or Blender. They're free and other ones aren't, right? But yeah, there's a ton of things for this. And then after we're done making their 3 different, I'm going to call them sequences. We're going to make 3 different ones and then we'll put them inside Streamerbot and show you like, hey, if somebody donates $5, $10, or $10 or $20, excuse me, it'll fire a different sequence. So let's get in that. Okay, so for today's project, we're going to be using Unreal Engine 5.7 here. So I'm going to go ahead and launch that. It's going to take a second to load. It always does. It goes faster after you launch it for the first time of the day. That's just how Unreal works. Right away, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and click New Project over here, and we're going to come down to Film Video, and we're going to go with a blank project right here, and I'm just going to rename this Alerts. You can name yours whatever you want, and this is the location it'll be saved at in case you have to exit it and come back later. And simply click Create and give it a second to create. While this is creating, this is actually a good opportunity to show you what I'm going to use for this example. So I'm actually going to use a model off of Sketchfab. That way you can see this can be done without creating your own or anything like that. I'm just going to use this peon right here. This is the same peon I use right now to be my my AI mascot I have on my stream. It's a different conversation, but as you can see, it's modeled already and it's animated. It's made by this guy right here who actually has given me permission. We've talked to use his models in my streams and videos. So this works out perfect. I'm going to click download and I'm going to go ahead and download the FBX right here. So once Unreal launches, this is the screen you're going to be met with or something similar. This is my custom layout. Your outlier is probably over here. No big deal. This is just the way I like to keep mine set up. You can change all this on your own, play around with it, do what you want, but this is how mine's going to be for this video. The first thing I need to do is bring that peon into Unreal. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to come up here. I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to a new folder here and I'm going to type in the word peon just to name it. That way we can find it. I don't know why I keep typing in A. And inside this folder, I'm going to go ahead and drag those files in. So for me, those files are right here. It's going to be under source right here and it's going to be FBX. Now, yours are going to be wherever you download it. Mine's in downloads. You know, here's Warcraft Peon and then the source file, right? So I'm going to simply click, oops, yeah, slide this over, click and drag this in. And once I do that, you're going to see you're going to be met with this pop-up right here. Don't worry about these settings. It should be okay. I say should be because there's a chance that yours is different than mine, but I'm not going to change anything. I'm just going to select import and give it a second to import. So this one is going to come in with a bunch of animation sequences, skeletons, and just a bunch of stuff that you've probably never seen. But what I want you to notice is it says right here in the corner, there was an issue with the import. And I can tell you right now what that issue is. If you notice, these are all gray. Like if I were to take this and drag it into my world here, you can see that's not the right color, right? And right here, this material instance, this is the color it's giving it. So that's actually going to be the issue we need to fix. So let me go ahead. And what I'm going to do to fix that is going to be pretty simple. I'm not going to actually do it appropriately because it's just a Twitch alert. But if I go back to this folder, if I just come back one and go to textures right here, this is going to be all the textures that make the material. I'm going to click and drag them in just like that. All right, now if I come here they all are, these 4 right here. You can see they're labeled texture right there at the bottom. And I could come in, right click and make a new material and do this properly. But for what we're doing today, it's actually going to be pretty easy just to kind of cheese it a little bit. So all I'm going to do is this first right here, this peon base color. They're all going to be called something different, like base color, normal, metallic, roughness. You can see their naming right there. What I'm looking for is a base color, which is right here. I'm going to simply click and I'm going to drag that right on this. And just like that, you can see it now has color. Now, is it a little too shiny and going to look a little off? Yeah, for sure. But this is going to be a Twitch alert, nothing crazy. And also you can see it went ahead and it made me a material out of this automatically. So I can go ahead and just right click and delete this, or I'm sorry, just click delete on my keyboard real quick. And that one's going to be gone. And now we are good to go. I have a material I can use for all these. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to delete this guy from my world actually. And what I need to do now that I have my peon in here is I need to get him in a level sequencer. So I'm going to go back to the content folder right here. I'm going to right click and go to level sequence. I'm going to name this ls_1. You can name yours whatever you want. That's just what I'm going to name mine. I'm going to double click to open that real quick. And now that I'm inside the level sequencer, the first thing I want to do is I want to add a camera to this level sequencer. And that's going to be this camera looking button right here. When I click on that, it automatically adds a Syn camera actor. And I want you to notice it adds a bunch of things here. This is just your timeline for video editing because that's the part we're doing. And what I want you to notice though is right away, they've got black borders on both sides here. My frame changed a little bit. And where it says Syn camera actor, this is blue. And what this is all indicating is that I'm currently controlling the camera. So if I click out of this real quick and move around, you can see there's now a camera right there. If I click on this, it'll snap to that camera. And if I aim down while this is blue, you can see I'm physically aiming that camera down. So just an idea, when you clicked on this, you are actually moving the camera around in your world. And that's a big deal because you might get things set where you want, forget this is clicked and you move and you got a whole problem. So I just wanted to bring that up to you guys real quick. So I'm just going to set this camera right here because I'm not exactly sure where I want it yet. And then from there, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to go back to the content browser. I'm going to go to the peon folder right here. And I'm going to go ahead and look at these animation sequences. So these are all the animations I'm going to be using. Let me run over some of this stuff real quick. Most of this is going to be overwhelming. And for what we're doing today, you don't really need to know what it is. Okay, here's your skeleton that makes up his body, your skeletal mesh, your physical assets. They're all named, right? But what I want you to focus on is animation sequences, which is all of these, right? So if I double click on the running, I know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to make a simple running animation and 3 versions of that running animation, just so you can see how this works and how he is doing what he's doing with the tank, right? So since I double click this, obviously it's open and looping. I'm going to drag this up here. And right away, like I said, you could see it looping. It lets you see what it is. And this is named peon rig_run. And all these right here are all the different sequences we've seen at this bottom menu right here. Whoop, all of these, they're just laid out for us right here. So now I can simply double click and look at the different ones that are available to me. And perfect, there's a tons of them, you know. I know for a fact I'm going to use the running one. So I'm going to start, if I click on it, start on this one right here. And then we're going to have him stand and then, you know, run again. Nothing crazy. Again, I want to make it quick just so you get the idea and you can use your own creativity to make your own. So from here, I'm going to go back to my main screen here. I really don't need this open, so I'll just go ahead and exit that tab right now. And then from there, cool, I want this running animation. I'm going to simply click and drag it into my scene like that. It's still great, no big deal. I'm going to drag this material on top of it just like that. Boop, and there, now he's got color, no big deal. And now when I go back to the sequencer, I'm still on this level, or I'm sorry, this actor right here, as you see by the black bars and everything. So like I said, unless you click that, it doesn't exit it. So I'm actually going to back my actor up a little bit because I just don't want it to be that big. The way I like to think of where you're looking at here is this, what you can see is what will be your stream frame, if that makes sense. So I actually want him at the bottom of the screen because that's actually where I'm going to run it at. So right about there's probably pretty good. Now I'm going to grab him. Like I just clicked on him, as you can see, and there's a little gizmo here. I'm going to slide him over because I actually want him to stop about right there. So what I'm going to do now is that's where I kind of want him at. We need to get him animated, right? In order to get him animated, see right here where he's in my world, I'm going to simply click and I'm going to drag him down into the sequencer. And now that he's in the sequencer, I'm going to be able to animate him. So in order to animate him, it's actually not going to be the animation tab. We'll get to that in a second. We're going to use the transform tab. If I open this up, you see location, rotation, and scale. So where he is, what direction he's facing, and how big he is, okay? So at the beginning of this, I actually don't want them in frame. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm actually not going to use this, what I just said at all. I'm going to go ahead and unclick from this right here. So now I'm just free moving real quick. And I'm simply going to drag them over here and maybe up here a little bit, something like that. And then I'm going to rotate them a little bit here for he's kind of running at an angle into frame. Cool. And we're going to call that his starting position. So I'm going to come back to transform and see this right here, this little diamond. I'm going to click that. And now from now on, I'm going to go on and click this diamond. And what this does is it automatically adds those keyframes. Let me slide this. You see that those little pink dots? It adds those automatically as I adjust him. So I'm going to go ahead and click that there. Now I'm going to drag this down to, I don't know, about 45 frames there. That's what this 45 is. And I'm going to get a good angle here. And I'm going to grab him. And I'm just going to pull him to probably about right there. Let's see how that looks. And I don't really know how it looks. So what we're going to do is I'm going to come in here, right? And I'm just going to grab this. And I'm just going to go like this. And cool, that's how that looks right now. He's sliding across the screen. Technically, he's animated. Now, obviously, we want him running. So let's go ahead and add that real quick. So in order to make him run, now we're going to see where it says animations. We're going to come to this plus sign, click on that plus sign, and here again is the list of all the animations that you looked at. So I knew that one was called run. I'm going to click on run right here, and there it is. Now, you can see it's actually going to be too short. Like if I let it play right now where you can see him, see how he just runs for a second, then he starts gliding again. That's because that is just one running cycle of the animation. It's only going to be, it looks to be about 16, 17 frames. Yeah. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to pull it out to here because that's where I want it to be, right? And now it'll continue to replay. And every time you see a checkered line, I know it's kind of tough to see those checkered lines, that's where it's restarting at. So now when I let it play, you'll see he's just kind of going across to there. And if you see, he's kind of like slipping. Like as he runs, it doesn't look very natural. And if I start pulling this around, like watch, see, I bring this out here and I make this all longer, you're going to see he's going to slip less. You know what I'm saying there? Now he's not slipping, but it looks like he's kind of running in place because I've gone too far. So let's just back that up. That was at 45 frames. So we now know 65 is too far. Let's try 55. That's probably about where it's going to look natural moving. And this is kind of the game you're going to have to play to make it look natural right there. So now let's try. And that actually looks okay. Now, it looks kind of funny at the beginning. He's running in place, and then he's running in place. What that is actually, see how these are pink right now? That means they're automatic. If I right-click one, see how it's set to this, cubic auto? We actually want it on linear. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to highlight all of these. Then I'm going to right-click and click linear. And what that is that is a speed graph. We don't need to get into that today. But essentially, it makes it so now it'll move consistently at the same speed the whole way out. And I'm actually okay with this, I think, for the most part. I think it looks okay. Honestly, I think I should adjust it a little more. I think right here is probably going to be the sweet spot. And if it's not the sweet spot, we're just going to use it anyways, just for the sake of the video so we can move along. So, yep, that looks pretty good to me. So now if I come back to here, it's going to snap my camera back, right? So I can see this is where we're at, and cool. Yep. Now, what I don't like is he's almost a little too low. Let's try right there as the kind of the base of the screen, right? So cool. I'm all right with that. Now, what I want to happen is I want him to stand and look around right here. So I'm going to go back to the animation tab, click right here, and I'm going to go down to stand 2. And I just know what these are already. You would have to go through and look at them, right? And then added stand 2 right there. So if I just hit play now, you'll see he kind of just abruptly stops and starts scratching his head. But what you can do is you can simply slide these, and this is going to be you playing around a little creative freedom here to get what you want to blend them together. See those little X form there? So now when I play it, it's smoother, right? It's not as abrupt, and you can start playing with it, and you can definitely go too far. Like that's too far. You can see he abruptly did it, but that might be okay right there. If I do this one too far, he might start running. Actually, I think I like that. So now he's running, stops, and we can have the name up here behind him right now, and then he'll start running again. So now, cool, we're good with that. So let's go to the end of this frame, which is going to be 96. And at 96, we're now going to click animation again, and we're going to go back to the run here, and we're going to go ahead and drag this up so it's on the same line. And I'm just going to push it in a little bit, something like that, and drag it out, something like this, maybe 135 frames. But now, as you can see, we shake, and now we're just going to run in place because we've had him stop. Remember, his location is stopped here. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down here to frame 1. We'll call it frame 2 right there in the middle of the X there. And where it says location, I'm going to go ahead and click another one so he doesn't move at all from this dot to this dot. Now, I actually do want him to move by the end of this outside of what we can see here, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click off of this. I'm going to come up again, and I'm actually going to click on transform. You see there's like a line, and you get all the gizmos, and I'm going to pull him. And I like to use this line to kind of have an idea of where I'm pulling him to. without making it too drastic, if that makes sense. So right about there is probably going to be okay. Let's take a little look. Let's see what we got here. So we're running. We scratch, we stop, stretch our head, and we run off the screen. Perfect. I'm actually good with that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to come here at frame 135. I'm going to click on this red line. It ends everything there. It starts at frame 0. We're good. I actually like this animation. What's going to happen is I'm going to have to go through and make 2 more of these. I will put that on the screen, and we will hyper make, and I'll make it quickly. But it's the same exact process. It's just creative freedom. And we'll continue with the next phase after this. But now I need to get this rendered out without the sky and the ground and all the things you can see. So in order to do that part of the process, what you're going to do is, see how there's no like layers tab? What we're looking for is a layers tab. So what I need you to do is come up here to where it says Windows. And in the search bar, just type in the word layer and it's going to come right up right there. Layers, boop. That's what we're looking for. And you can see it's empty. You're like, well, what does this do? So let me exit the camera so you can actually see what's going on. So right now, as you can tell, I have the peon selected and I have him selected there. That's why he's highlighted, as you can see. So with him selected, I'm going to come into this layers tab, right click and say add selected actor to new layer. Name it what you want. I'm going to name this one peon. Now with him still selected, I'm actually going to come up here to selection and I'm going to say invert selection. Okay. And what that's going to do is going to select everything but him. And I'm going to right click again and add selected layers. And I'm going to say BG for background. Okay. Now, I need you to double check a couple things, assuming you followed along. I know this isn't really a follow along type video, but if you're kind of using it as a guide, I started off in the film production part of Unreal here. So what I need you to do is I need you to come over here and I need you to see where it says quick render. It'll have this icon. I need you to change this to movie render queue. If you go there and you're like, I don't see that, that doesn't exist, that's totally fine. Come up here to plugins and type in movie render and you're going to see right here, you're going to have to check it and restart. That's how you get it on. Okay. So I want to make sure that's on. Then I want you to come up to edit after movie render queues on. And I need you to go down to project settings right here, click all settings. And I need you to type in the word alpha. And just like that alpha, you're going to come down to alpha input and make sure that's checked. Awesome. Once that's checked and that's on, we're good to start rendering out. Rendering out as a transparent, it's kind of a pain in the ass in Unreal, to be totally honest with you. So it's a couple extra steps. So cool. Movie render queue. Yep, we're still in. I'm going to click on this now, and this is what's going to pop up for you. And what you need to do is you need to click render and LS1. That is the name of the level sequence. I named it at the beginning if you don't remember. So I'm going to click on LS1, and it's going to say unsaved config. Go ahead and open unsaved config. And the first thing we're going to do is change some of these settings. So right here where it says JPEG sequence, go ahead and slide that one so it's off. Come to the settings and pick PNG for me. You may also pick EXR, but I don't think you need EXR for this. 8-bit should be fine. Click on that. Make sure right alpha is going to be checked there. Then you're going to come down to the deferred settings here. Go ahead and check accumulator includes alpha for me right there. And then from there, actor layers right here. This is an important one. Go ahead and click this twice. This one is going to be peon or whatever yours may be. And the other one will be background. So these are 2 layers we made, as you probably remember. Then we're going to go into output directory, wherever you want to save yours. I'll go ahead and I'll just make a folder real quick. Actually, we'll just use this alerts folder. That's totally fine. Select folder. And then this is going to be the resolution you want it to come out at. You can do it whatever you want. I'm going to do ×2 and then, ×2. That makes it go up to 2K. So cool. I'm cool with that right there. And everything else, I believe, should be fine. Just double checking real quick because I'm doing this live. Yep, it looks pretty good. Now I'm going to click accept and I'm going to hit render locally. Now, when I do this, my entire OBS is going to freak out because I'm rendering, right? But we'll see how it goes real quick. As you can see, you're going to get a little preview window here. Go ahead and let it go all the way through the render. And when it's done, we'll look at the files. Okay, so mine just finished and I have this error popping up exactly a million times. Don't actually worry about this. What this is it was just letting you know like, hey, there was no naming convention involved, so we were going to overwrite. In order to not overwrite, we automatically started adding a naming convention. I'm like, cool, don't care about that. So go ahead and ignore that. Don't freak out if you see all these errors. It's not that big of a deal. All right, cool. So we're good with all that. We're good with here. So why don't we go ahead and minimize that, and I'm going to show you what we've done. So if I find that file, which I don't actually know where it is on here, so I'm just going to do it the easy way and come over here and go to alerts. You're going to see a bunch of still images, which can be overwhelming. Don't worry, it's not a big deal. So from here, we need to get these still images into a editing software. So for me today, I'm going to be using Premiere Pro to show this to you guys. You guys can use whatever one your heart desires. It doesn't matter to me. So I'm going to go ahead and launch Premiere Pro. Now that my video editing software is open here, I'm going to double click over here. Again, you can use DaVinci Resolve. There's other programs. I'm just using this one because it's the one I own and the one I like. All these photos here, as you can tell, these are everything, right? But if you come down here, see these ones right here, this is the other layer. So this is a layer of the background image. This is the layer of just what we wanted, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and click on 000 here, click on this, and then right here it says image sequence. Make sure that's checked, and that's all I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna click open. And just like that, it's gonna pull it into here. And if I grab this and I pull it right here, I can now hit play, and it's gonna go ahead and play exactly what you're looking for, just like that. Boom. Now, so we like that a lot. So what we're gonna do is that's what we wanted, right? We're gonna go edit or file over here, and now we're gonna export one more time, and this time we're gonna export media. Now, this is where a lot of people mess up. The screen will be black if you leave it on the wrong format. So what I need to do is I actually am gonna use a QuickTime format. Again, this should work for you regardless of what video audio software you're on. Click QuickTime for me, go down to the video settings, and then it's gonna have a bunch of options right here. What I'm looking for is Apple ProRes 4444, just like that, okay? And then from there, it's gonna be like, well, what are you doing with that? If I click on more over here, you're gonna see where it says 16 depth right here. I'm actually looking for the alpha channels. So either one of these will work. I'll go 16 plus alpha just for quality purposes. You don't have to, it doesn't matter. I'm sure 8 would work just fine. It's up to you to play with it. And now from there, I'm gonna click export one more time. Excellent. Now that exported pretty quick. So if I come over here, I click that. I don't actually know where I exported it to. I certainly hope I put it here. What did I even name it, to be honest with you? This is gonna be it right here. Okay, so if I double click this, I'm just gonna open it up inside this videos so you can kind of see what it is here. And now if I drag that in, as you can see, it's changed color because it's a video file, but it's gonna be the exact same thing as it was 5 seconds ago. Go ahead and hit play on it and let it play. Yep, it looks the exact same. Cool. And this is the file we're actually going to use on our streaming software. So I'm going to go ahead and make 2 more of these with different like animations where he stops and does something other than rub his head. And then I will show you how to make them fire depending on which donation is happening. So I went back in Unreal and I made 2 more video files here. So we have a total of 3, a $5, $10, and $20. That's just how I named them. And just to show them to you guys real quick, I didn't change anything like the process of creating them. It's all the same thing as what you saw. And if I let him play here, you'll see like he's going to run over, he's going to scratch his head. We've seen that one we made together. I did the same thing. I have him run over now. And this time he's going to die. That's a $20 one. Cool. And the third one is he's going to run over, grab something off the ground and keep running. Okay, cool. So we have all 3 and that's what they look like. Now, the next part of this is we have to get them into OBS before we can actually have them fire. So I'm going to go ahead and exit that, and I'm going to drag my OBS onto the screen so you guys can see everything here. And I'm just going to go ahead and hide this preview so that way it doesn't get too confusing. All right, so what we need to do is we need to add all 3 of those. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go to add media file. If I could find it, there it is, media source right there. And I'm just going to call this Peon 5. Let's call it Peon 5 right there. And right away, I need the file I made for Peon 5, which is right here. Excellent. I'm just going to click OK on that. And then right here, we'll go Peon 10. All right, and Peon 10 will match up with Peon 10. And finally, Peon 20, as you guys know, will match up with Peon 20 here. Browse and Peon 20. Cool. So now we have all 3 of our files inside here. So one issue I know I'm going to run into, and you're going to see a screen and a screen, I apologize for that, is I made these all 4K. I actually recommend you don't make them 4K. It's just a habit from rendering out things that I actually want to be high res. Reason is watch when I drag this in. If like, or I'm sorry, I don't gotta drag this in. I can just hit play on it. And if I try to click it, it's actually, let me lock all these so I'm clicking the right one, right? But what is gonna happen is you're not gonna actually see anything here. See how big it is? That's because it's set to 4K and this is not, because nobody streams that high. Well, some people do, but I don't. So I'm gonna go over here to transform. I'm gonna hit fit to screen. And now if I go ahead and refresh it, you're gonna see him run across the screen. There he is right there. And that's what it'll look like on stream. Cool. No big deal there. I'm going to go through these real quick and I'm going to have to fit all these to the screen real quick. So now that they are inside OBS, let me drag this out of the way so we stop looking at a picture in a picture. And again, if I hit test fire, just so you guys can see how it's going to look, I hit this. He comes in, he dies, boom, and that's it for that one. Cool. Now, what I need to do is they're inside OBS, but how do they get connected to Twitch itself? So for that, I'm going to use Streamerbot. You can use whatever you want. This is just my preferred program I already have set up. So I'm going to come over here to Actions, go into Actions. These are actually my current ones I use, and I actually use a very similar something to this already for my Super Chats. But for this, we'll make something brand new. I'm going to right-click, Add, and I'm going to type in Peon 5, right? Once I click Peon 5 here, there it is right there. I'm going to come over here to the triggers. And what do I want to trigger this? I actually want a donation to trigger this. So I can search donation up here if I don't know where it's going to be. So there's a lot of different options. I know Streamlabs is very popular, so I'll click at Streamlabs. What is the minimum? I can make this 5 and 5 because it's $4 or $5, but I'm going to do it 1 to 5. So for $1 to $5, this is what it'll show. Cool. Click OK. There it is. And what do I want to happen that goes in the sub actions when this trigger goes on? Well, I want that video to become visible. So I'm going to right click here. You can right click up here too. I just did search last time to show you. So I'm going to right click here, go to add. This time I'm going to go up to OBS because that's what we're using. I'm going to go to sources and I want to set the visibility state of a source. Okay. So I'm going to set state source here and I'm going to go to default. That's fine. Whatever. And what scene are we in? I did name the scene video. And what do I want? I want Peon 5 right here. And I want to make it visible. Click OK right there. So what I'm going to do real quick, I'm going to drag this back over so you can see. I'm going to try to drag it back over without Windows trying to make it something crazy. And I'm just going to turn these all off. All right. Now I will put this back where it was and everything's going to keep closing. Thank you so much, Windows. Okay. Now from there, now that I have it set to visible, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a delay. So if I don't know where delay is, like I said, I can just come in here and click delay. Cool. And this is actually going to be in milliseconds. So I know Peon 5 is about 4 seconds long, so I'm going to make it 5,000 milliseconds, okay? And then after that's done, I actually want this source visibility state to go back to invisible, or not visible. So OBS, sources, set visibility state again, and this time it's going to be the same. I want it to be the Peon 5, and I want it to be hidden, okay? So now it's going to, when somebody triggers it by donating $1 to $5, it's going to become visible, and it's going to have, after a 5-second delay, it'll become invisible again, which should be enough time for the entire thing to run. So if I come up here and I go test trigger, this should show up on the screen for both of us. Sure enough, there it is. And I'm getting an encoder overload because it's in 4K. So just a heads up, I would definitely bring it down from 4K. Cool. And that's exactly all you have to do. I'm going to repeat the process real quick for the other two. I'm going to come over to this one, change this to 10. Okay. And I actually don't know if 5 seconds is good for this one. So let's find out together. I'm going to test trigger and we're going to let it run across the screen again. Stops to grab something and runs off. And that one actually is a little short. You see how it went off before he finished the screen? That's not a big deal. We'll just bump this up to 6-second delay before it hides again. And we test one more time. And that is going to be good. Perfect. And that's all you have to do to get these set up. Now, if you want to add a name, that's actually not too hard to do. That wasn't really the point of the video, but I'm sure somebody's going to ask. So let me come down to my super chats right here. In case you're wondering, these naming conventions these are the different names of my scenes inside OBS. So when I'm playing a game, this is it. So it's going to grab the info right here. Target info right here, user info. What that does is grab the name and then it's going to go ahead and put that name in a text and then it's going to show the visibility and everything just like we had before. So this is the lineup you want. If you want to add a name, that is how you do it. And I think, guys, that is pretty much it. To add the third one, I would just repeat this process again, but I think you guys get it. So I'm going to wrap up the video here. Thank you for watching. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.